Welcome to Empowered and Unstoppable, the show where high-achieving women crush self-doubt, ditch imposter syndrome, and step boldly into their greatness. I'm your host, Megan Bunnell, and together we'll unlock the mindset, strategies, and confidence you need to create unstoppable success on your terms. Let's dive in. Well, welcome, my friends, back to Empowered and Unstoppable, the show where high-achieving women just stop surviving and really live those incredible lives that they've built. They really start to fully own them, loving themselves, feeling amazing, living that glorious life. So I'm your host, Megan Bunnell, and if you've been looking for your permission slip to go after your more, whatever that is, today's guest is your sign. So she is proof that strength has no expiration date. In fact, we were just talking about how she just got back from the gym. She is a champion on the fitness stage, a champion in life, and really a fierce champion for women everywhere. Linda Mitchell is a best-selling author, a fitness boutique owner, a gym owner, the powerhouse behind Sisterhood of Sweat. She's been featured on Times Square billboards, I think like 6 times. She's graced the cover of fitness magazines 8 times last time I counted. Perhaps it's way more than that. I don't know. She's spoken on countless stages, worked with celebrities, writes her own column, you name it. She's done it. And she has over 4 decades of really transforming women's lives. And I honestly could spend our entire time together talking about the amazing ways that this woman has been empowered and unstoppable, truly. But her story isn't just about trophies or titles. It's about surviving abuse, about rebuilding from nothing, and deciding to, as she says, dig ditches, because that would be better than staying in a life that wasn't hers. So today, she's going to empower you to break free from self-doubt, claim your God-given purpose, and take one small step at a time toward your boldest dreams. Linda, thank you so much for being here with us this morning, and welcome to Empowered and Unstoppable.
Oh, thank you for that glowing introduction. I am so happy to be here on your show today.
Well, as am I. And before we dive into all of your juicy goodness, I always ask my guests this question. It's kind of a peek into your real life and a little dash of fun. So, what is one thing you do behind the scenes, whether it's quirky or weird or just human, that your audience or your followers would never guess about you?
That's quirky.
Yeah, or
Uh,
just human. What's something we wouldn't ever know?
uh, because I'm so strong, people don't realize I might get choked up or overwhelmed, um, where something touches me and I cry or,
Yeah.
they might not realize it because I had to be strong to pull myself up by the bootstraps and get through life and raise 3 kids and move on from what almost took my life.
That's beautiful. And I really think that sometimes people think of strong just physically or hiding those emotions or being able to weather the storm, without it looking like it hurts. And yet strength really comes in feeling all of those emotions and being in touch with all of the pieces of humanity. So I know that's incredibly vulnerable and very raw and real. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Okay, I'm ready to just provide so much Linda value. Sprinkle it all over our listeners. Are you ready for this?
I am.
Okay, we're going to start with kind of what you just nodded at a little bit. We have all had those moments where we've been knocked flat. Some of us far harder than others, right? But moments that could really be a reason to quit or a reason that we rise, depending on what we choose. And sometimes what feels like the end is oftentimes the start of something we didn't even know was possible and something bigger. And you've shared that your pivotal moment was deciding, rather, and I love this terminology, by the way, whether you would rather dig ditches or stay in this case, an abusive environment. Can you take us back to that laying flat on your back decision, right? Been knocked down.
I've had several
And
of those.
what was that first ditch digging step? What did that look like for you?
I think it was just where I just realized how awful it truly was. And that I would rather dig ditches for a living than live like that and have my kids live like that. And I think because I was raised in such a Christian household, and not to say I'm not saying anything against Christianity, I am a Christian, but I think things get misconstrued about women's power and what they're worthy and deserving of and what their role is. And my mom was very submissive and she had depression. Um, she basically, I think, didn't have a voice, is what I grew up realizing. And I believe all women were born to have a voice and that we should not snuff that out. No one should, and we should not shrink. Um, to be lesser versions of ourselves because I believe God created us to be a powerful force. In the Bible, women are powerful. So where
Incredibly.
did this come along? What that we have to dumb it down, that we have to shrink, that we have to bow. I think it should be marriage should be a partnership where we love each other as we love ourselves.
I think that's, yeah, beautiful. And I love that you kind of, included in that the idea of we're conditioned from when we're really young. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's hard to really uproot those beliefs because you think, I feel this way and I think this way, but that's wrong because I was
Hmm.
raised, in this certain way. But I love that you had the power and the awareness to look at maybe what your mom had gone through and said, I don't think this is what was intended at all. And recognize your power. That's kind of what this is all about, right? Is us really empowering ourselves
Hmm.
to showcase our strength, obviously not just physically, but our capabilities in the world and the impact we can have and the dreams that we have in pursuing them. I love that. And for any of you listeners that are out there that are in some sort of relationship where it doesn't feel the way that Linda just described it as a partnership, that's something that you can look at and talk about and work through because truly, whatever your role is, we are equal partners and so incredibly capable and impactful. And you're right. So many of the women in the Bible had a lot of times a bigger impact than the men did. And so that's exactly what we were placed on this earth for. That's beautiful.
Well,
Thank you
God
for
gave
sharing that.
us our own personal sovereignty,
Yes.
and that doesn't belong to anyone but you.
Mm.
I think
Yes.
I was taught that man is the head of the house, women are to be seen, not heard. That was the message I got, whether it was purposeful or not.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a good girl, and I
Yeah.
grew up because my mom had depression. I grew up very empathetic, very I think I knew that not being happy was not a good thing. So I felt responsible to fix, to help, to make happy. And that was a people pleasing thing.
Yes.
But I don't think we were just put on this earth to people please. And it's been like a huge life lesson, I believe, for me. First was the leaving, but then was realizing I wasn't just created to people please. And when you said that about permission, um, I want to just say my biggest epiphany was when I was standing. I had hurt my hamstring. I'd had hamstring surgery and I was on a little pink scooter at the Summit of Greatness.
I can picture it. I can picture it.
Hot, hot pink, you guys. And I had just got the license I wasn't really supposed to sit up, but I could sit sideways. So
Mhm.
I I mean, Lewis Alice took and his mom took such great care of me. So here I am on this little pink scooter, and Eric Thomas, who is one of the top motivational speakers, uh, was giving a talk, and I just really didn't feel up to asking a question because it was still 3 weeks out of surgery. And so but in the line at the book signing, I thought, what would I have asked him?
Ooh.
And it was, what do you do if somebody's holding you back? And then I realized, you know what? Nobody holds you back but you, because
Oh, amen.
you had to give that person what? You had to give them permission to hold
Permission.
you back.
Yep.
And you didn't give yourself permission to go forward. And
Yes.
then it went into this whole thing of, you know what? We weren't born with permission slips to hand out to people.
You're right.
So that one life that you were given is yours. And
Yes.
don't let anybody else decide the basic things that are coming from your heart and your God-given purpose and sovereignty.
Absolutely. And, I think that term, people pleaser, I grew up, whether again, purposeful or not, really feeling as though that was my place on earth. And I actually owned it and loved it, right? I was like, I am good at making people happy. And I am great at pleasing others. And I'm just happy doing anything I want to do, anything they want to do. So it doesn't matter if it's not really what I want to do. I can be happy anywhere. And I was so proud of that. I wore that like a badge of honor until I realized one day, I was like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I want, because for decades I have done nothing but people please. And I wasn't resentful for it and I wasn't upset about it. But I realized that has nothing to do with my purpose. That is, none of my actions were radical, none of them were fierce. They were just following along with, other people. And the problem is, a lot of times when we're people pleasers, and I don't know if you've found this, but you are pleasing people that are toxic or manipulative or really aren't for the greater good, and definitely not for your good. And so you are giving them permission to
Absolutely.
control, guide, stymie, make you play small, when that's not what we were put here to do at all. And actually, maybe that's a great question for you. For those women, whatever their situation, maybe they've hit rock bottom, like we talked about before. Maybe they're in that people pleasing role, but what they're not doing is making those radical, fierce, moves and following their dreams that
Mm-hmm.
they were put here to do. And
Mm-hmm.
nothing's wrong necessarily, but it also isn't them really being empowered and following the path that they were intended to take. So for those women who might fit into one of those scenarios, whatever the case may be, what do you think is a kick in the pants that you could give them to really start their journey, whatever that may be, towards being limitless?
Realize where your fear is coming from.
Ooh.
What is it that you're deeply afraid of? Are you afraid of showing up as who you really are? Are you going to lose? Are you going to afraid you're going to lose people if you actually show up as you? Are you hiding pieces of yourself? Um, when we're afraid to give ourselves permission, also, we might not realize we're worthy of the dreams that we have in our heart, that God
Mhm.
placed that in your heart and mind for a reason, and that not everyone's going to understand your dreams because God gave them to you. He didn't give them to Sue or whoever.
Right,
Sorry,
right.
you know, sorry, Sue, if you're out there, but like,
We love you, Sue.
but truthfully, when you
Yeah.
really think about it, it's that there's going to be, if you actually showed up today as what you feel in your heart, not everyone's going to be on that journey.
No.
And if you go after the things God tells you, don't be surprised when people buck. They buck you. They buck the system. They come against you because they don't feel powerful in their own lives, or they're afraid of showing up like that. And so they project that onto you.
Yes.
And you have to overcome that if you want to go anywhere in life. And I do believe the statement that well-behaved women never made history.
Oh, I like it. Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, and I just actually read something, and I cannot off the top of my head remember who wrote it, so I'll have to put it in the show notes. But he was saying that there's a 33 and a third rule, that a third of the, no matter what you do, no matter who you show up as, a third of the people won't like you. A third of the people will follow you or support you, right? Or, amen to you. And then a third don't care. And he said, it doesn't matter what journey you're on and what pivots you make, it's a third, a third, a third about in life. And so you cannot be held back by that third that doesn't like you, because there's another third that does, and another third that it doesn't matter to them in any way, shape, or form. So, he was saying, follow your purpose and focus on those that do support you and that do love what you're doing and that are in your corner. And I thought that was so beautiful because, I can tell in my history, at least, that's the truth. When I've pivoted, I've lost some supporters, I've gained some supporters, still have people that don't care, right? I mean, I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I love that. I
You have
think,
to, oh,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go, go, go.
You have to, sometimes you have to fall back to go forward,
Yes,
and you have to let go of things that weren't meant to go on the next journey, because it's like people will fall away when you're getting ready for like a big transition,
yes,
and you have to let those things go, or you're not making enough space for what God has for you to come in. And my biggest rock bottom moments have been my biggest moments of transformation, and I began to realize that trouble is my transportation.
ooh, I like that. Okay.
And I cannot claim that is Joel Osteen. But
Okay, it's good though. It's good.
yeah, but it is true. It is true. The more somebody comes against you and you hold your own and basically stay the path, the more God blesses you, the higher you rise.
Yes.
And so I've actually learned to thank my critics as much as somebody that is a supporter,
Yes.
because actually a critic makes you real. I mean, like if you write a book, you're not a real author till you have a critic.
Oh, 100%.
And so just realize that when you really go after your dreams, you're going to shake things up a little bit. And if you really have that faith and courage, to go forward, it could be amazing where you could end up.
Yeah, beyond your wildest dreams. And, as you're saying that, I'm imagining these women out there that have, I think, a pretty common obstacle. And I think probably all of us at some point have faced it. And that's we typically as women at some point feel like we're not enough, right? Or that imposter syndrome, like who am I to do this? And that's a sneaky feeling because it might not be in those words, but it's that feeling, and it shows up usually whether you're starting something totally new or you're leveling up, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
the difference between staying stuck because you listen to it or stepping forward is really in our response, right? And you encourage women, and I love you for this so much, to really stare their fear. And you had mentioned fear earlier too, in their face, right? Like stare that not
Yes.
enoughness
Yep.
right in the face
Yep.
and step into that next level version of themselves. So,
Mhm.
how do you personally do that? And how do you help your clients really stare it in the face and move on?
Mhm. I think you have to just realize it's false things appearing real. Basically, false evidence appearing real is what fear is. And face everything and rise, of course, you know. But for me, it's thinking about your why, first
Yes.
of all. Why do you want to do that? Your why is the most important driving force, your heart force.
Yes.
So I would go back to my why when I had fear about I felt called to speak. Now believe me, I did not want to speak.
Do not make me go up there.
I tried not to. So just realizing that I was called to speak, and I felt it, and it just kept on showing up. I tested that sucker out so many ways.
Yeah.
And so realizing what my why was, what my driving force was, why it was so important to me to help to empower women. Now, You all are already empowered. You just need to realize it.
Yes.
You're already worthy. Before you lifted one finger, you were already worthy. You were chosen. God created you with a purpose, and you didn't have to do something in particular to be worthy of your calling, to be worthy of your dreams, to be worthy of a good relationship. And it's just to realize what your true value and your true worth, what that is. And
Yes.
so whenever I did something cool, like my first cover, for instance, oh my gosh, I was having major jitters thinking to myself, am I the person to show up on this cover? Like it's overwhelming, guys.
Yes.
Like, who am I to do this? When I was starting my podcast, will anyone listen?
Yes.
When you teach your class, will anyone show up? When you open a
Yes.
gym, are people going to come? And so every big thing, I was the biggest scaredy cat. Every big thing that I ever did, some things I thought about, I mean, a multitude of things for a year before I actually did them. So just think about if you just placed your belief in faith instead of fear,
Yes.
because that's the choice.
Yes. Yeah. It's always
And
a choice.
yeah, so why not just put your faith out there instead of putting all your trust in fear? And so just showing up and doing it builds your confidence muscle every single time. Every single
Yeah.
time you show up and you face that fear smack in the head, and you know what you're about and why you're doing what you're doing, it's amazing. Like I literally remember telling someone before I opened the second gym, she had asked me, "Oh, do you want to? My husband's got this rental property. It's XYZ. Do you want to come over and look at it? Maybe you could move your gym there." And I thought, ain't no way. I could, no way. I could never afford that. What are you
Yeah.
crazy? Are you crazy? And then, you know what? When I was flat on my back and I couldn't do a thing, and I had three horrific injuries back to back, and I just surrendered everything to God, He literally showed up in a greater way and opened my whole mission, the Sisterhood of Sweat. And in a place on the same street, I used to work 60 hours a week, mind you. And not only did I open that, but then during a pandemic, He helped me expand. And that's miraculous. I mean,
Yes.
I had
Yes.
no business degree. I only had heart. I only had a mission. I obeyed what I thought I heard Him saying, but
Yeah.
I again tested that out. And He showed up for me like, I mean, 7 gyms closed around me, you know?
Oh, oh, they were dropping like flies during the pandemic. Absolutely.
And I didn't have a business degree. I didn't have a business plan. This was definitely supernatural, the hand of God that just brought me through that. And of course, my husband, who believed in my dreams and supported me, and his hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and his engineering capabilities, he put it all to use, and he helped me so much.
Love that.
Yeah.
You're listening to another episode of Empowered and Unstoppable. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Are you ready to take your success to the next level? Visit www.meganbunnellcoaching.com. That partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like their fear is stronger than other people's, or that some people just don't have fear, right? But you're right, because fear doesn't disappear on its own, but it loses its power when we move anyway. And what you're gaining, like you said, is that confidence. And it's not built, confidence isn't built by having a plan. It's not built by having thought, right? It's built by motion and evidence. And so you're more confident when you show yourself that you can. And the more things you show yourself you can do, the more confident you are in general. Even if it's something you've never done before, you're like, well, I've figured everything else out. I can do this. I can do this. I love that. I love that.
Well, yes. And you realize that you could do more than you ever thought you could with each thing that
Absolutely.
each time you face fear, and just knock it on its head, you realize you were built for so much more and stop
Yes.
shrinking when you should be standing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and talking about doing more than you think you ever can. There's a lot of women, I think, that really do underestimate themselves. And often our biggest breakthrough, I think, happens when we do prove ourselves wrong. And I know you've said that one lesson that you've learned from building this success is realizing that you can do that. Exactly what you just said, way more than you ever thought you could. So, give us like a story. What's one example where you really surprised yourself? I'm sure you have more than that one gym, that didn't close down. Like, what's another example where you've really surprised yourself of what you're capable of that you never thought was possible?
Oh my gosh.
You're like, I have so many. I can't even.
There's so many things. That is a hard question.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the rock bottom moment when I
Yeah.
left my ex-husband and I
Okay.
had been a stay-at-home mom, just kind of working part-time, and I had never ever worked full-time. Uh, Within 3 years, I bought my own condo and I was debt-free.
That's nothing. 3
And
years.
but
That's so
like
fast.
I didn't go to college. I'm just
Hmm.
saying like I didn't have any idea. And that was probably my first time that I surprised myself. And before I've done everything, every single thing, I have always been afraid. So back
Yes.
to that fear thing.
Yeah.
But then when you do it, it builds your confidence of realizing that you can do it. And when you
Yes.
say no to what you shouldn't be tolerating, you make space for your dreams to come in. When
Yes.
you have somebody toxic, stop engaging with that energy because it's going to drain you. So when you start realizing, oh, wow, this is such a waste of my energy that I could be spending on my dreams. This is such, why am I engaging in this?
Yeah.
And you start pulling away because whatever you're feeding is going to grow.
Yes. Yes.
So if you feed your belief will grow. If you fuel your dreams and you take action, then it's going to lead you to the next and next thing. It's just basically like fitness, taking that first step, that first
Yes.
toe into the water, and the next and the next. And like Martin Luther King says, as soon as you start taking those steps, the staircase starts appearing, but you first have to leap out in faith because you're not just gonna you don't know where you're going. I mean, do
No.
you think that I ever thought in a million years that at 60 years old, like literally, that I would be on 14 magazine covers, and now it's 8 New York Times Square billboards, running a gym already for 16 years?
Crazy.
Like, no. I mean,
No. No
when I
way.
left my ex-husband, I never dreamed of things that I would be an author, 2 times and collaborate on another book with somebody. And so I just, the things are endless that God has done, but you have to be a willing vessel. And the biggest thing I could say is it all for me came from surrender. Like when I had these horrific injuries, literally, you guys, I'm stubborn, okay? And being strong is all I knew, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what got me through every single thing. But
Right.
this is where it changed, is when I realized that being strong is not all I am. And when I let go of all that I thought made me me, and I just surrendered to God, He showed me I was so much more than I thought, that it was so much
Love it.
more than my body, and
You're good. You're good. Take a moment.
worthy, that
Yeah.
I was worthy
Absolutely.
of my dreams, and that having a good physique didn't make me worthy. winning
No.
a million trophies and a million championships didn't make me worthy. And
No.
so I went through this whole healing process. And I really, when I ripped my hamstring from the bone with bone fragments,
Oof,
that didn't
ouch.
stop me, of course, you guys. I
Yeah.
literally, I kept going. Then I tore my hamstring, and not too bad, but then I ripped my groin from the
Oh,
pelvis completely. And literally, I surrendered and I just said, God, what is it you need me to know? What is it I need to learn? What do I need to stop, look, and listen here? And I just literally promised him I would not compete for 3 years. I realized when your body's breaking down, you need to be like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to build up?
yeah.
And build myself up, like, because over exercising or overachieving or all of these things, they're all a sign of something.
Hmm.
And so I just want to say briefly that I went through this whole healing journey surrounding that. And it's when I surrendered to God that he brought everything to me I ever imagined. Because I was supposed to be on a cover when I was 40, and that didn't work out. So when I was 60, I just said, I think this time is, and also I wanted to, of course, win the championships,
Yes, yes.
and I just, I guess it's come and gone. My time has come and gone. And that's okay because I don't need that now.
Yeah.
And when I just really knew my worth, I did all of it for a different reason. My reason was so different. I showed up so differently, not because it was, please choose me, please pick me, pick.
Right.
No, it wasn't that anymore. It was all about my message, about being healthy, why I'm here, and then everything came in.
Yes.
Everything, everything came in.
I love that. I love that so much because I do think that how you show up and why you're showing up, that purpose, your foundation for your actions, you can make the same actions and they would have totally different results if it wasn't with the right intention, with the right energy, with the right focus. And that's just a testament to that. Absolutely. And you had touched on something that I think is really important for women like you and I and these women that are listening. And that is, a lot of times we just want to say yes, right? We're like, we want this opportunity. We want to win this thing. We want that promotion. We want, whatever. And we kind of feel like the more yeses we say, the more doors are going to open up, right? But sometimes the fastest way for us to burn out is saying yes to everything. And people pleasers, I'm definitely talking to you in this situation for sure. But even saying yes to good things is sometimes really detrimental. True empowerment really comes when we create the space, and you had mentioned this, for the things that are truly ours to do. You close the door or people leave, you let it go, and that opens up the space for the things for the people that are supposed to be there. And I know that you've coached women on the idea of boundaries and creating alignment in their lives. And I think that's a big piece of
Mhm.
that so that we know we have that discernment. Can you share a time that maybe you said no? And in doing so, or creating a boundary, if it was, you unlocked a whole nother level of success. And you did just mention one that, like, I'm not going to compete for 3 years. That's one of them for sure. Is there another time or a client story that you can share where saying no opened up such a big yes?
I don't know why I just keep going back to like for me saying no, I'm not going to compete when people it's one of my favorite things to do when people are asking me to do it and they're asking me and I'm like saying no, I'm not going to do that. I'm focusing on my business right now. I have a mission and I'm not. And for me to say that for 3.5 years was big. I
I'm
mean,
sure so hard.
it was. Well, can I just also say I thought I would probably, I couldn't say I was retired,
Yeah.
but I thought I probably would never be able to do fitness again.
Okay.
And I kept dreaming that I was going to be able to do it. And so then one day I thought, okay, if I keep dreaming this, I must be
There must be something.
supposed to,
Yeah.
I do this and I'm gonna do this again, and my dreams are gonna become a reality. So all I really wanted was to get back up, guys. That is it. I wanted to get back up. The first time I got up, and how I kind of saw it in my mind is I'll get up. I won't do fitness yet. And
Yeah.
I was just excited. I didn't care about winning. I was just excited to be able to do it, and I wanted to do it. And
Yeah.
that felt healthy, and I walked away feeling great.
Yeah.
And then the next time I was like, I'm going to do fitness. And I really didn't tell anyone.
Oh, secrets.
I was because I knew people were going to be, oh, because
Uh-huh.
I had all this. So I didn't tell anybody, and I practiced, and I almost really didn't go
Oh,
because I had a lot on my plate at the time, and I was training somebody though, which made me show up because
yes,
I was like, I
yes.
can't keep canceling on her because she wants to go compete. And
Yeah.
my son got recognized at Cannes for his movie Riddle of Fire, and I had to go to France.
Okay. How fun is
And
that?
then I was speaking at the Big Talk Academy because I got selected to do that. All these things happening at once.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, how can I do all this and compete too?
Yeah.
And you know what? It was just a meant to be thing. I got back up, I went and competed, and I won, and I got my first pro card.
I love it.
And so the boundaries were something you have to honor as a boundary. So your question, to really answer that, because I went off on a tangent, but
That's okay.
like let's just say what you have to realize is when you set a boundary with somebody, you're actually protecting your mission.
Yes.
You're protecting your peace. You're setting, like, you might not have ever been shown how to do it, how to do boundaries, because I wasn't. So I didn't really start doing that until late in my life.
Yes.
But once you do it, like I remember there was this girl that just always was just trying to put all her crap on me. And then I would walk away because I would just be nice and I wouldn't say anything. But she was basically, this is a terrible thing to say, forgive me, pissing on me and calling it rain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I realized one day, you know, I'm the one walking away upset. She's feeling great.
She's doing absolutely great.
So, you know what?
Yes.
I started calling her out on it.
Good for you.
That takes courage, guys.
So much courage.
Because
Absolutely.
we don't like to have any, disruption. We don't like to rock the boat,
Nope.
not have peace, have discomfort. But you know what? Strength comes in discomfort.
Yes.
You have, when you get that courage to stand up and stop, I guess, laying down and letting someone walk all over you, because you are not a rug. You are
No.
not a rug.
No,
And
ma'am.
so you don't need to be a rug in a friendship, in a relationship, at work. We weren't meant to be rugs. And so when you start setting boundaries, don't be surprised if the people that were benefiting from you not setting them get a little upset. Just
Of
expect it.
course. Yep.
Expect pushback. Expect pushback if your husband is always used to you doing whatever he wants you to do and not doing some of your own maybe dreams,
Yes.
or your significant other. And once you realize it's pushback, okay, it's going to come.
Expect it.
Expect it. Yeah.
Yeah. But what's on the other side of that is that aligned life where you are respecting yourself, where you really truly understand your worth and your value and you're standing up for it. And that is, I think that's amazing. Now, I cannot let you go without talking about health like a little bit, right? Because this is your mission. And I think for high achieving women, And I've been in these shoes. Try not to judge for just a second, but I think health can become a something we fit in when there's time, right? Like I'm sure that you've worked with people that are there, right? Like, well, when I have time, I'll do this or all that. But it's actually the foundation for everything else. And you've built a career and have this mission of helping women prioritize their health and their self-care, right? Not just their physical
Mhm.
strength.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in your own amazing words, why do you see health as such a critical leadership move almost in life and not just a personal goal?
Because when you are united, body, mind, and spirit, you are more of a powerful force in the world, and you're going to be able to do more things. And it helps you recognize your value and your worth when you prioritize yourself.
Yes.
It builds your confidence and your self esteem when you feel strong in body.
Mm-hmm.
It really helps you be strong in other areas. It's empowering. It makes you believe a little more than you don't that you can do things.
Yes.
And I just think what we do in our body translates in our minds, in our hearts. When you
Absolutely.
don't feel good about yourself, like let's say you're not exercising, you're not eating right, you're less empowered in your life.
Yes.
You're you might not go to that party because you don't feel good in your clothes.
Yes.
You might not go on a run with your friends because you're like, I hate running, I can't run, I don't
I
even
can't keep
think
up
I
with
could,
them.
you know.
Yeah.
But like, you don't have to love running, you could
No.
walk. But I'm
No.
just saying, it really enables you to do so much more. And I really believe that health is wealth, and
Yeah.
that not just money is wealth.
Yes.
Freedom, time freedom is wealth, health is wealth, friendship is wealth. You know, I think our focus in this modern world becomes all aesthetic,
100%.
but it's really all an internal job if you want true wealth. And true health is not just eating your greens and lifting a few weights.
No.
It really starts from the inside out. And it really, like, to me, it's just all encompassing, like what you feed your mind with,
Yes.
what you surround yourself with. Like if you're in a toxic relationship, but you're eating spinach and running 10 miles a day, uh, that toxic relationship is going to affect your health.
Yes.
So it's just realizing that health is all encompassing. It's not just pushing weights and eating greens. It's also just giving yourself what you need. And again, like we got to stop looking to other people to give us the love we deserve. We got to start giving it to ourselves.
That's where it starts. 100%. Well, and I love that you equate health to wealth and really question the definition of wealth. I have four kids; they're all very little, 10 and under. And my 8-year-old just asked me the other day, "Are we wealthy?" And I was, as a life coach, I'm like, "Oh, this is good. Do we have time?" And that was my first question back to him was, what do you consider wealthy? And of course, because this is what society puts on us, he came right back with the boats and the house and the cars and the things. And we happen to have a very close friend of ours whose dad is incredibly wealthy, money wise, right? And that son is constantly sad because his dad is never at his games. And we
Yeah,
come to
right.
birthday parties and he's dropped off,
Yes,
whereas all the
yes.
other parents stay. And, we have family get togethers and the same thing, they'll come and drop the kid off, but dad, has to work. And it's funny. So I kind of brought that up, not that particular person, but I said, what if you had all the money in the world and you could own anything you wanted, but your time was required almost nonstop to have it? Is it worth it? And we got into that whole discussion, and he's only 8, so we're not there yet. But kind of that idea that it really, health and wealth is a whole life, a whole body, a whole spirit, a whole mind thing. Without one piece of it being healthy, can you really consider yourself in any way wealthy, in the non-money sense? So I love that. And you can't lead your own life or other people from a depleted place. And your health isn't a reward you get to enjoy after you've succeeded. It really is the fuel that makes your success, and again, watching the definition of success, sustainable. So I love that. And I'm so proud of you that you have
Oh,
really pursued this mission of allowing women to really look at their worthiness and their value of more than just being prizes and titles and money and all of that. And so thank you for all of your work. I think that what you've done has been amazing, and I know you continue to do it, and so many people are in a better place because of it. So thank you.
well, thank you so much. And I want to say something I learned from Tim's story.
Yes, please.
He said that don't chase your dreams, cooperate with them.
Ooh, that's juicy. I like it. Yes, I love that. And so much of what you've given us today is really tips and little steps that allow us to cooperate instead of chasing them. Okay. I know that I need to let you go. I could talk to you all day, but I do have one final question for you. If you could give every empowered and unstoppable woman that is listening right now a magical post it note to put on their mirror and they could read it every morning, what would it say?
You are stronger than you think.
Yes, you are stronger than you think.
Hmm.
I love that. I love it. Well, Linda, thank you for bringing your energy and your wisdom and your experiences and your faith and just your fire to our conversation today. You are truly living proof that it is never too late, that you're never inexperienced enough, that you don't need a degree, that you don't need to know the how necessarily to reinvent yourself, that just small steps, a lot of faith can really change everything. And our worth isn't tied to our age, our relationships, our prizes, right? It's not tied to our circumstance, and it certainly doesn't need to be tied to our fear. So, thank you for all of those reminders. And if anybody listening wants a little bit more Linda, I know I do. How do we get more Linda in our life?
Well, just go to Sisterhood of Sweat on any iTunes, Spotify, Apple.
Yeah.
That's my podcast. And then also all my social is Sisterhood of Sweat. And my website is sisterhoodofsweat.com. And then also I have a new podcast coming out, which is
Ooh.
the celebrity one, and it's
Yes.
Listen to Linda.
Ooh, I
So
like it.
listen to linda.me is the other
Okay.
website. But uh yeah, you were such a beautiful interviewer and you had so
Mhm.
much insight that it's such was a fun time to be on your show. And I hope it made an impact on some of your listeners.
I am 100% confident that it did. Absolutely. So thank you for your time again and your wisdom. And in case they aren't watching and instead they're listening, I know that Sisterhood of Sweat stands for something. Do you want to tell them what sweat stands for?
Sweat stands for strong women empowering, achieving together.
Boom. And nothing, I don't think, is more beautiful than that. So, if you, to my beautiful listeners, want more Linda in your life, all of the links to her books and her podcasts and all of the things will be in the show notes. So, please go there, really soak up all of the wisdom and the tips and the tricks that she has for you. Listen to her new podcast when it comes out. I know that I'm going to. And thank you again. You are absolutely an amazing example of a woman truly stepping into her empowered and unstoppable brilliance. So, thank you for all you've done in your life and the countless women's lives that you're impacting and are going to continue to impact with all of your work. It's been such an honor speaking with you this morning. And to my listeners, if you loved this episode, go connect with Linda, go to those show notes, soak up more of her inspiration. And if today's conversation reminded you that you're capable truly of more than you thought, then hit subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend that needs to hear this. I know we all do at some point in our life, and perhaps maybe your friend just needs a little nudge to take her next step. So this is Empowered and Unstoppable. I'm Megan Bunnell. You are here with Linda Mitchell, and I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Empowered and Unstoppable. If today's episode spoke to you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who needs a boost of empowerment. Are you ready to take your success to the next level? Visit www.meganbunnellcoaching.com. Remember, you're not just capable, you're unstoppable. See you next time.